Hello and welcome back to the Coaches Show here on SportsNetUSA.net. Key to the County game, one of the most historic matches in all of community college football between Santa Ana and Fullerton. But before the game is played, there's always the Key to the County breakfast, at least for the last 25 years. Speaking of which, SportsNetUSA.net and the Coaches Show caught up with everyone over at the Key to the County breakfast.
Thank you, Coach. Is this projecting well? Can you hear me? Sure. Okay. Good morning. 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 Welcome to Fullerton College. It's a great treat for us to host this tradition and to welcome our friends from Santa Ana College. Woo! And of course our Hornets from Fullerton College.
Woo! Good morning! Yeah!
I was sharing with a few friends this morning is I technically have transcripts from both Santa Ana College and Fullerton College. I need to explain that. I was a student here at Fullerton College, a proud graduate, beginning in the fall of 1986, and after the fall of 1989 I completed my associate's degree and transferred. And then I worked for the County of Orange Auditor Controller in the 90s, and at that time, and I think this still is the case, Santa Ana College is a huge training provider for the County of Orange, and so I did some training classes, and it turns out I've got a transcript at Santa Ana College. So, about my time here at Fullerton College, I was looking at the history books. We know that this is a great tradition, and I was curious, by the way, when I was a student here, I know I didn't play football. I was a music major that turned into an accounting major, but I'm a proud Hornet, and so I mentioned I started in the fall of 1986. Now, who won that? Fall 1986. The final score was Santa Ana College 26, Fullerton College 23. 1987. The score was 27-17, Santa Ana College. In 1988, Fullerton College, 24, Santa Ana College, 17. And then in my last semester before transfer, in 1989, Santa Ana College won the game 35-10. Then I started thinking more recent history, okay? When I was asked to serve in the role of president at Fullerton College, which began in the fall of 2015. Well, I'm just going to say this. In the last 3 years so far that I've been serving as president of this great institution, it turns out that Fullerton College has won the game. But really the big picture is this. After 101 years, 95 games, it's close to even. It's close to even. In fact, what I show is 50, 41, and 4. Fullerton College with 50 victories, but it's very close. And we've seen this, and we know the history books, there's cycles. So it's a wonderful tradition, and we're really proud to host the breakfast this year. We'll look forward to visiting Santa Ana College in the future. But thank you for making this possible, and I want to say a special thank you to all of the coaches, the faculty members, the classified professionals, managers, and the community supporters who support our great student athletes and allow them to grow and thrive academically and athletically to do great things. So thanks to all of you. We're really pleased that we have some of our district leaders with us today, and I'd like to acknowledge a couple of special individuals if I could. We have one of our trustee members from the North Orange County Community College District, Ms. Monica McClanahan, is with us. We're also very pleased from the Rancho Santiago Community College District Board of Trustees, Mr. Zeke Hernandez is with us. And I'm not aware of any friendly wagers. I'm going to just keep moving. But I hope you enjoy your breakfast. I wish all of our student athletes the best tomorrow. Fun competition, and of course to stay safe. And let's have a good game. Thanks for breakfast.
Thank you very much.
What we'll do first of all, bring up Dr. R. Douglas Manning. He's the Dean of Santa Ana College. Come on up.
That's not appropriate. Won't we go in there today? But I'm thrilled to be here. This tradition is much larger than all of us. It's the 96th play in 100 years, and we're just grateful that you guys are hosting, and we can't wait to host next year. I've been in my role for a year now, and the only reason I'm up here today is really to introduce our newest hire, which is Mary Hegarty. And think what you might about me, but I will pat myself on the back for my hiring. And so whether it's Monica Cordova or Kayla Dahl or Mary Hegarty, boy, I'm a pretty darn good hirer, let me tell you guys. So I've been here a year. Our facilities are incredible. Our programs are fantastic, but nothing is better than our people. And so my woo friend, Christina Romero, would you come up here? So I am just absolutely thrilled that we can invade the Fullerton College campus with more people than Fullerton College has as their own breakfast. So as I call your group, would you please stand and remain standing to show that we've invaded Fullerton College campus? The students from Santa Ana College and the ASG crew, would you please stand? From the Rancho Santiago Community College District Board of Trustees and our 2017-18 BSN Veteran of the Year, Mr. Zeke Hernandez. Anyone affiliated with the SAC Administration and Management Team, Dr. Jim Kennedy and crew, Teresa Mercado Cota, Melissa Utsuki, Janice Love, etc. Anyone affiliated with the SAC Foundation, would you please stand? Anyone from the Hall of Fame committee and or Hall of Fame inductee, would you please stand? Past student athletes at Santa Ana College, would you please stand? Our incredible faculty, staff, and classified professionals from the Division of Kinesiology and Athletics, would you please stand? Friends, family members, and or boosters of Santa Ana College, would you please stand? And so together, what I would like to do with the help of our very own Christina Romero, let's go, Dawn!
We heard you was taking names.
Thank you, and thank you for the Don's Pride. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the newest addition to Santa Ana College, our brand new athletic director, Miss Mary Hegarty.
Thank you, Doug. That's a tough act to follow for sure. It's my pleasure to be back here. One of my first community college jobs was here at Fullerton College a couple years ago.
Yeah, go Hornets!
I started at Santa Barbara City College after most of my career being at the four-year level and then Santa Barbara City, and I came here. And part of the reason I pursued a career in community college athletics is the great experience I had here. So no joking aside, I just a great staff, David Grossman, Scott Giles, Nick, of course, who doesn't even need an introduction, Bill Thurman. I didn't get to work with Dr. Schultz, but I've gotten to know him a little bit along the way. But one thing that they like to say here, once a Hornet, always a Hornet. And those of you who know Debbie Wolke, don't tell her I'm about to say this, but I just want to crush you all now. One of the things, I've been on the job for about 2 months, and it's just been a great experience. And I should give a thank you, and I owe you a lemonade, Scott Giles, because when I was looking into different jobs and pursuing the Santa Ana College position, I went to Scott and I said, hey, tell me what you know. And I asked him a lot of questions. And then he whispers to me, he goes, that's the dean right there. And I'm like, oh, very good. So luckily for me, Scott was able to introduce me to Doug, and I'm super grateful to be in this position now. After 2 months, you know, there's been a lot of action, a lot of things going on, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, even the rough things. It kind of goes with the territory as you're trying to build things. But one of the things that's been super clear to me, since I got there, and Doug touched on this a little bit, but we've got some great people at Santa Ana College. And just within our division, I just want to single out our young classified staff, Kayla and Cammie, just really outstanding young professionals who have a great career in athletics or whatever they want to do. I hope it's athletics, and I hope it's Santa Ana College athletics for a long time. But they just do a tremendous job. And our support with our trustee Zeke here and other trustees, and our foundation with Christina, the Hall of Fame, Ken and Rick and all the others. It's just been a real pleasure to get to know everybody and see the support that we have. With football in particular, one of the things that's been really clear to me from the second I got on campus, from the first interaction I had with Coach Jones and Coach Nyson, the bottom line is they are passionate about their student athletes and their student athlete welfare. All they care about is giving their young men a great experience in their football program, but teaching them life lessons and modeling the kind of behavior to help them grow into thriving, successful young men beyond the football field. The other thing that really stands out from the very beginning, the first meeting I had with Coach Jones, it had nothing to do with winning. We didn't even really talk about football very much, but he shared with me the academic support and the guidance and the structure that they have for our football players, and extremely impressed. And our young men are very fortunate to have the kind of guidance and support and the direction that they get from our coaching staff, and in particular Coach Jones, who's in charge of all of that. And the last thing, and all of the coaches, Coach Meek here, I've been on the sideline to dozens and dozens of community college football games. And I won't say where it was, but I've been on the sideline on occasion where the president of the college or a trustee was walking behind, and I was mortified about what they were hearing back behind the sideline. But, it's all competitive spirit. But one of the things that I think I'm most impressed by with our football program is the discipline and the way our coaches conduct themselves on the sideline and the kind of behavior they model. Just extremely impressive, and really proud of the work they do, the effort they put in. And with that in mind, I'd like to bring up our co-head coach, Coach Jones, to say a few words about the program and about tomorrow. Woo!
Thanks for having us. Fullerton, first of all, congrats on all the success you guys have had last couple of years, last many years. You guys are doing a great job. Is Crooks here? Normally Crooks is here. Watching his defense for this week out of the year, I always feel like I'm underwater for a week, just trying to figure out how to get this done and how to find a way.
Try it in training camp.
Exactly. Yeah, they do a great job, and obviously Gary, you guys do a great job on offense as well. We'll say a quick thanks to the North Orange County District. My wife Sarah, she actually teaches at Cypress, and she teaches English and reading over there. That means North Orange County and Fullerton College actually pay half of my salary a year. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. I got a brand new 2018 Chevy Colorado. I got to check it out. I appreciate that. But Sarah reminded me about 10 years ago. I mean, this is my 25th game. of Fullerton, Santa Ana, as a player, as an assistant, as a head coach, now as a lowly wide receiver coach again. But it had so much meaning for me. 92, man, that was one of my favorite moments ever. I think that's why I'm still coaching. Al Sherbeck night, some of you guys remember that, some of you guys don't. We're down 28-0 with 10 minutes to play at Cal State Fullerton. I'm a freshman. We come back and win that game. Everybody left. You guys remember that? Nick Reed? Everybody took off, and Al Sherbeck came back and win that thing, and it was one of the greatest things ever. 10 years ago, roughly, maybe a couple more, I actually brought my daughter to this event. And I don't know who remembers that one, but Chris Norby, who was the mayor and supervisor of Orange County, he went to high school with my parents. So he would always start the Go Hornet chant. I'm sure you'll be hearing him in the stands, the Go Hornet. So I prepped my 6-year-old daughter to stand up when he said Go Hornets, to say Let's Go Doms. It was awesome. I mean, there was 100 people there. It was at the hotel over here. Coach Murphy set it up. And it was unbelievable. It was a great time. And we went out that night and ran the cleats off the Burton's team at Fulton High School, and David Richmond and a bunch of guys playing really well. But it was super fun. I think I also brought Sarah too to kind of apologize for being a football coach at this level. Maybe this will go to many of you, not just my wife, but the priorities that we set as coaches and what we ask of people around us is completely unreasonable and ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I had a player come up to me a couple days ago, Coach, I can't make it Thursday, I got to do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, 25 years of coaching football and playing football at Santa Ana College. I missed 2 practices. 25 years. My mother had a heart attack in Maui, so I flew that night after practice, went and stayed with her at Mount Memorial, took a red-eye back to make the San Diego Mesa game. Those are the only 2 practices I've missed in 25 years. Ridiculous, right? Setting priorities like that are not believable, but it's important to me. So again, for the things that I've done, I moved my sister's wedding 2 weeks in Maui because we had a scrimmage one year. She still doesn't get it because that's what the priority is. And to help the academicians in the room and the instructors to understand, why we do what we do. Imagine like Sarah teaches an English class, and I've given her this example a million times when I come home. I'm like, imagine in your class today that you spent all Sunday on preparing your lesson plan, all that stuff. All of a sudden you walk into your classroom and someone hands you a list, and this list says, today you're not allowed to use adjectives in your English class, right? Today all your nouns have something called Liz Frank in their foot, and they can't play, right? You can't use any letters and you're trying to make this work, okay? At the same time in your class, you get everything perfect, everything's all lined up exactly like you want it to do, and all of a sudden Joey Noble comes into the class and just wrecks classes all over the place. Just throwing your stuff all around, throwing your computer on the ground, not letting your students do what you train them to do, all that stuff. And that's coaching football. There's a million moving parts to this thing. And as Coach Campbell, I don't know where Burns is. Is this too long of a walk for him or something? Anyway, that's why we are who we are. I'm rough sometimes on Kayla and on Cammie on the things we have to do in a certain period of time. I so appreciate what you guys do and dealing with us football coaches. But anyway, our team is ready, I think, tomorrow. We'll see that list that I get handed today of who's allowed to go. But we're fired up. It's a good group of kids, really good. They've come together quite a bit. I've only had one guy drop since the beginning of camp. That's a huge deal. Huge deal. I mean, a couple years ago, we started with 104, ended with 104, won 9 games. That's as good as we can do at this level. With recruiting the way we do, the philosophy we have, taking care of the local kid, that's a great thing for us. We're keeping them around, keeping them in class, completing their units, all that stuff. So, anyway, we'll be there tomorrow. Hope you guys show up tomorrow too. I want to thank you.
Just a classic guy, man. We were here for a long time. Did a great job. Congratulations on that. Well, except the bad news, I just got a call from Kansas State. They were towing some Santa Ana College signed sticker on it, so I don't know. Also, in relationship to all the Santa Ana college people here, congratulations, but I know you heard it was a free breakfast, so I seriously. Steak and eggs at your house next year, don't forget.
Oh, yeah, we'll be there.
And then lastly, I've got a call from a couple kids from Santa Ana. They can't make it tomorrow because it's Grandma's birthday, so it's, I got to go. And that, I say that because I've had that happen, and you're like, oh.
Grandma's in the airport, right?
Yeah. One kid told me that Grandma died, and I said, oh my gosh. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. About 3-4 weeks later, he said, my grandma died. And I go, oh, you got bad luck, man. There's no grandmas, in 3 weeks, and holy smokes. I told the coach, I said, yeah, I had 2 grandmothers die, And then about a month later, his grandmother was sick. And I said, I guess it's possible to have 3 grandmas somehow. But I said, did she come back? So anyway, yeah, the games are always a neat thing to have, to see and all. And so I like to see our crowds get really big. I know the crowd is big. And by the way, my president just came up to me and said, hey, pointed out that Ula, where's Ula? Ula, see, Ula, he was standing in the door down there, and our kids couldn't get in. So we got a whole bunch of Hornets that show. All the Hornets, stand up right now, all you Hornet guys. I don't know what you're doing. I want to hear you say it one time. Say, go Hornets. She's hiding. All right, this time I'd like to bring up our athletic director. Scott Giles is an outstanding human being and cares about kids. He's out there, and anything comes up, he's right there with us all the time. He's getting better. I was on that committee to hire athletic director, and Coach Giles has been. I see him grow. I see growth in him throughout, and it's not just about athletics; it's about people. And so, as you're talking about, Doug, that's how important is that? And Jeff, how important is that? We have our kids, and Scott Giles is an absolutely tremendous father and a great leader for our physical education and athletic program. Scott Giles, come on in.
Thank you, Nick. A great friend. We love Nick Piscardo. Thank you for being our host today. I love having events on our campus because I like to have people come and see our beautiful campus. Our campus is gorgeous, and this is the best time of day, is in the morning. When I get here early and I come on campus, I'm really grateful to be employed by the North Orange County Community College District and work here at Fullerton College. Now, maybe you know I like to walk and hike, and some mornings I'll just walk around campus. I have a little walking routine, and I go through all the buildings. I'll come out of our gym, and I'll walk up the 400 building. That's the big science building here to get my heart rate up, so I'll hike up the stairs. I walk around the 200 building, I jump over around the 100 building, walk across the quad. It's just beautiful in the morning, and walk the parking structure, because you got stairs over there, up and down, get the heart rate up, and finish it with a couple laps around our track. And it's just wonderful to be employed here and be a part of our athletic program. I am surrounded by a lot of wonderful people who I call my friends. They're my family. We have a wonderful staff. We have great leadership, starting with the president and David Grossman, and all the way down through our athletic department. It is a real family atmosphere. We know about each other's lives. Phil Thurman, our sports information director, I know about his kids and his baseball and his comings and goings, and then everybody knows about my son. He plays high school football, and that seems like all I talk about on Friday is, hey, we got the game, and they put up with me. But it's a really nice family atmosphere. Molly, our board member, I've known her for years. Great advocate of students and of athletics, and I call her my friend too. Sometimes board members kind of intimidate you a little bit, and people in leadership, but she is just so loving and kind and compassionate, and she cares deeply about the students here. So it's fun. We're here to talk about football, but we also have other programs on our campus. And We have over 400 athletes here on our campus, and in Santa Ana, you're probably about the same number as well. And it's just our number one goal for our athletes. For me personally, I really want a happy athlete. I want these athletes coming on campus and being really happy with life. And with so much distraught and these kids coming on our campus with some issues, I just want a real happy athlete. And then I want them to do well academically and to graduate and move on to a four-year level. And then I want them to play their hearts out and do their very best on the athletic field. So those are my goals. Happy athlete, do well in the classroom, move on, and then do well athletically. And those are some of what we really try to do is to make this experience here for athletes a real positive experience. So they leave Fullerton College with a real good feeling, like, hey, I'm really happy I chose to come and play here at Fullerton College. Football, it goes in cycles. Fullerton, we've been on top for a little while, but, it just things seem to go. And, I played football, Division I football at BYU, and we used to crush Utah. Utah was nothing. We just pounded and pounded and pounded. We had like a 10-year winning streak. Well, guess what? University of Utah right now is pounding BYU. I don't think we've won in 7 or 8 years. So sometimes these cycles go up and down. You just keep playing, you keep participating, and the one thing I like about Santa Ana, you come out, you play hard every game, and well coached, a very well coached team. Jeff, you've always done that. Your players have good sportsmanship and tough, and you're moving guys on. You're moving guys on to four-year schools, and that's what it's all about. When G. Murphy was our coach here, that's all. That was his number one goal, is to move kids on to four-year schools, and that's we carry that same spirit with us now. But thank you for being here and just supporting athletics on this level, regardless of what sport it is. Just supporting community college athletics, providing opportunities for young people to come and continue to play and get their education. So we need support. And football's taken a little bit of a hit across the country with concussions, and our coaches now on all levels are really trying to save this wonderful game and teach good techniques. The way the game is played, the way the game is appreciated is a lot different than it was when I played. We're trying to save this game because I think football is such an important aspect of a young man's life. And I think the best part about playing football is young men get to be associated with adult men who are good, honest, hard-working people. And that's what I think is great about football, is these young men are around great men. And I can tell you, we have great men here coaching our teams. Santa Ana has great men coaching their teams. And these young men are associated with men. And they're going to grow up, and they're going to be good people, and they're going to be men, and they're going to be mentors. And if we look back, everyone that's played football in this room, you look back at your coaches, whether it's Pop Warner, whether it's high school, or whether it's college, and you say, those are some of the best men I know. And I think we all learn from being around great people. And I still remember my high school coaches, my junior college coaches, my colleges and coaches at four-year level. It's just a real benefit for these young men to be around great men and to learn from them. Again, thank you for being here and being a part of this wonderful event in Santa Ana. Thank you for showing up and your enthusiasm. I love it. I love the students. I appreciate the students being here and supporting. So Nick, come on up. And again, thank you for being here.
One factor that goes a lot of times unnoticed is the number of hours that the coaching staff puts in. Jeff, I apologize. Your wife's first name is Linda?
Sarah.
Sarah? My goodness. Sarah, stand up, please. There's a reason for that success. She's there for him. She's staunch. They love each other. And congratulations for being who you are. please stand up, Mary? And Scott, you stand up, please?
Uh-oh, I
Yeah.
did it.
Those guys just see, these things go unnoticed. But ladies and gentlemen, these two people are so critical to the success of our programs. How about giving both of them? Don Stanton, Hall of Fame coach from Santa Ana College, is a good friend of mine. And Don Stanton would always say, would go to meetings, and he'd say, Nick, do you have anything that doesn't have Fordham College on it? No. That's what I am. I wear Fordham stuff. Why? Because I love it. So when I got married, I wasn't even here yet, so we ain't gonna talk. Hey, just one other thing before I forget. I wouldn't forget it is, I'm just a pinch hitter because the greatest man that I know, Ed Arnold, is using the master ceremony. He's a Don and he's a Hornet. He's everything. He loves all this of athletics, and he's been so wonderful for us. And he's had a tough time going through, but he's okay. He's struggling, but he'll get it done. So I'm just pinch hitting for that guy, and I feel embarrassed that I'm up here and he's not, because I love, he comes, boom, all you do is ask him, and he's there, and he wears me out though, because I like to talk, as you guys probably know. So anyway, my son-in-law, he has a stopwatch, anytime I got the mic, and they have over and unders. He said, you cost me $50. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I thought you'd go over. Next time we'll split that whole deal. May I please do this too? Anita, would you please stand up, Anita Ward? Please. She is so wonderful. Stand up, Rick. You guys have to coach. You got those great secretaries and all. Okay. What I'm going to bring up now is maybe one of the most creative and outstanding offensive coordinators that I've ever been around. I walk up in the office and I go, Blue 19. So that's my deal. So we put Blue 19 in for tomorrow? Watch out. Blue 19. I bring up a young man who's got a tremendous future ahead of him. He's an outstanding human being and really knowledgeable. Fun to watch him. Garrett Kemp. And here's his dad. Dick Kemp.
So first of all, I'd like to thank the administration from both schools for allowing this to happen, and obviously unlike Jeff and that I played in this game, coached in this game for a few years before I left and moved around the country and whatnot. But I think there's a few things that I recall, especially about this game, one of which is my dad, and I do recall that night, by the way. My brother was on the team, and my dad was coaching, and it was a tough night at Campbell House. So I think my brother, who eventually went on to become an Army Ranger and do some other things, is still a little pissed off. I'll say this. I think our coaching staff, we have a fun coaching staff. I think, and I'm sure it's probably a lot like yours, we genuinely love being around each other. We genuinely enjoy each other. We don't get caught up in this offense-defense thing, which a lot of times can happen. But I think our coaches genuinely care about our young men and developing them and developing their character. I would like to say something, and Nick kind of stole my thunder, but Sarah, you, my wife, Melissa, there's a special place in heaven for people like you, because it is not easy being married to a football coach. I think, having seen my dad and my mom go through it, it's not easy. So, and Jeff, I loved your analogy, by the way, about the classroom. I may steal that stuff. But I think it is our families who do sacrifice a lot, especially what you all don't see is after a tough loss or even a win where you don't play as well as you would like to. You're up until 2 or 3 in the morning watching film because you're just frustrated and you're just waiting for the sun to come up so you can start the next day, quite honestly. So there is, again, a special place for you and my wife, Melissa. So, I'd like to introduce a few of our players who are here today. A couple guys. Joey Noble, going to stand up. Defensive lineman from Los Alamos. Jacob Jankoviak, offensive lineman from Centennial. Stand up. Rob Downs is a wide receiver, and he's the assistant offensive coordinator. Never hesitates to tell me what play we should be calling. Even in practice when we have a script. Christian. James Stanton from Los Alamitos, offensive lineman. And then Jacob Jones from La Habra High School. It's not just this game, but it's working with young men like that. What you realize is that this game, and you're right, it is under attack. And this game is special. It truly, truly is special. There's not a lot of games, not a lot of sports where you spend so much informal time with your athletes. So much downtime, so much practice, so much weightlifting, so much stuff outside of competition. And it makes it special. So, I was thinking about it this morning, and what does that blood, sweat, and tears of the work mean? And what it means is, 1, mental toughness, 2, physical strength, obviously, but it's also an emotional relief for our young men. I know what our guys go through to get here, whether it's being stuck on the 91 freeway to get here, or coming west or east, right, Jacob, coming from Corona? But I also know it's about the creation and building of character and the lessons that they learn. And I think we all who play this game take away those lessons. And we apply them in our everyday life. I think those are absolutely critical. But I think most of all what it leads to is a togetherness in a family. These guys will always remember being together and the things they went through. And it's not always just the wins or the losses, but it's what they've gone through collectively that makes it so much fun. And the things I think about are things like last Saturday night, we're playing at Riverside. It's 100 degrees at 6 p.m. And we're in the middle of the second quarter, and I've got James Stanton, an offensive lineman, who has a trash can, sitting on the bench and has a trash can, and he's puking in the trash can because he overhydrated throughout the day because we've been harping on hydration. And he's fine other than the hydration issue, overhydrated. And so not only does he come to the sideline, does that, and he goes back in the game, but he finishes the game. And we won that game and later in the fourth quarter, and it was because of things like that. And those kind of circumstances, those kind of stories are things that in his life he will remember forever, and he will be a better husband, a better man, a better father, a better employer, a better employee, a better worker because of a situation like that. And so, those are the kind of things that I think about when I played here. Was I as tough as I could have been? And there's a lot of times where I just don't know that I would have measured up to their toughness, quite honestly. And I really appreciate that in our players. So, the key to the county game. Obviously, it's meaningful. Anytime there's a trophy involved, it's very meaningful. I don't know, it hasn't been mentioned, but I think one point of note is that right now, obviously, we're 2-0. You guys are 1-1. The other 3 teams in the county are 0-6. Which I'm okay that Saddleback's 0-2. And I know this game may not have the divisiveness of the SC or UCLA game or an Auburn, Alabama game. But I'll tell you what.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. There's 3 million people in Orange County, and the key means something, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. It means something to us. And I enjoy playing games like this. I enjoy knowing that we have a little something extra on the line. I enjoy playing against good people, good competition. So I appreciate the opportunity to come up here and speak, and look forward to tomorrow. And the only thing I'm disappointed, Nick, I don't have a woo friend. I need a woo friend up here.
Go
Hornets!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Garrett. Class guy. You guys are all outstanding. I would like to mention, because, what happens is we have a family. All of us have families here, and our family reaches out to everybody on campus, the classified staff and whatnot. There was a man here named Tom Duff, and Tom Duff was such an awesome guy. He'd come to every event. He'd sit out there in baseball and right the sun and football. He came up and he passed away this year, and we miss that. It's like you guys all know you got those friends that leave you, and you go, wow, there's a void in your life. So Tom Duff, I think about him a lot. He's a good man, and I'm not going to cry, but I'm Italian, and I do cry myself. Also, I just wanted to mention too, and Gene Murphy passed a few years ago, and he's been a tremendous loss. I remember I'm the announcer for the game, and Murph was on his cart, you know, and so ball would be down, the quarter would end, and Murph would take off on his cart. And I'd say, Murphy's down the sideline. He's at the 30, the 35, the 30. He wouldn't even acknowledge me. He'd just, you know, he'd go like, whatever, you know. So I said, that's touchdown, Gene Murphy. But yeah, we miss him too. That guy was unbelievable. One of the most unbelievable people. And finally, I just want to say this, you know, having all you guys here, you know, and it's been said today, but I mean, Tim Burns and Jeff Jones and Nyson and Campbell and Olivewood, you know, there's not one day that's not important to those guys as far as what they do. And they're all in it for you guys, those football guys. That's who they're in it for. And they will spend all their energy, you know, and to help everybody to do whatever they have to do to be successful. And I just want to make sure that, you know, never one time did they have any kind of negative things going on in their life that they're, you know, takes away from what they do and they love. That's football and the Hornets, and football and the Darns. Got it? So, hey, enjoy the game tomorrow. I'm hoping that next year, because we're going to be down there next year, and I'm going to bring 3 or 4 people to go Hornets, you're real loud. So, to make that happen. At any rate, I'm hoping that Ed Arnold's going to be ready to go next year, so let's work to get him back on that thing, you know. So, anybody has anything to
Yeah,
say?
tell Tim to get his red dress ready.
You don't want to see him in a short skirt. Mark Pavlovich, Corey, you guys are our TV guys. I want to make sure we get acknowledgement for those guys. They do a great job. I hope we get baseball on TV again next year. They cut it out because they don't like people standing on the dugout. They thought it was dangerous. It probably is. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Schultz. Do you want to have any closing remarks? Are we good? Got anything in your mind? Because I know.
Just 2 words. Go Hornets!
Enjoy the game, enjoy the season, and look forward to watching that thing and root for everybody. Okay?
Welcome to the Key to the County Breakfast here on SportsNetUSA.net. Right now I'm being joined by Jacob Jankoviak, James Stanton, and Robert Downs III. All 3 of these guys have played in this Key to the County game before, specifically last year, where Fullerton got the most points in a single Key to the County game in its history. Robert, you look at the wide receivers coming up this weekend against Santa Ana. How does your wide receiving core match up to their linebacking core?
Well, regardless of the defensive core, we think our wide receivers are the best in the country. We practice like it every day. We try to drop as little balls as possible, getting extra work after practice. So coming into this game, our wide receivers, we feel like we're ready, we're the best, and it's going to be hard or difficult to stop us.
You talk about your wide receiving core. 2 weeks ago, you specifically had that almost tip drill type of play. Ball goes through a defender's hands into your hands. What are you thinking when you make that reception?
I mean, it's just something that comes natural. We just don't ever really want the ball to hit the floor, so I was just in a good spot. The defender didn't make the play, and then after that, I just had to get in the end zone any way I could.
Now I switch over to the offensive line. Jacob, we'll start with you. You look at how you guys played in last year's Santa Ana Key to the County game. When you put up 77 points on an opponent, how does that give you confidence the rest of the season?
Well, just these wins overall are giving us more confidence in the practice, the technique, and all the stuff that we do. We just got to do what we do, and we'll be fine.
James, you look at how you guys finished last year after the Key to the County game. It really set a tone for you guys, and specifically the offensive line. You were terrific down the stretch. How did playing in that Key to the County game change the offensive line?
I think it gave us a lot of confidence. We didn't know where we were at going into that game. We still had our technique and our coaches coaching us up the whole offseason. Going into that game, we finally just realized our coaches have put us in the right spot to execute against any opponent. And moving forward, we just had that mindset that no one can beat us. We're the best unit in the nation.
When you scout this week's game against Santa Ana, how do you look at tape and measure up their defensive line?
Well, I just measure it up. I feel like we're the best unit. We shouldn't have trouble with anyone. Last week we handled Riverside. This week we're going to handle Santa Ana. And next week we'll handle Southwestern. So I think our coaches have just put us in the right spot to take on anyone.
Now we'll switch back over to the wide receiver, Robert Downs III. Robert, You and Gresh Jensen, that entire wide receiving core and the quarterbacks as well, developing chemistry on the fly. How do you make sure that you start to get that chemistry going in week 3?
Well, we wouldn't say on the fly. Every day after practice, we have receivers, quarterbacks staying after practice to build this chemistry. Like, this chemistry doesn't happen overnight. These guys are all new. A lot of our receivers are new, and we need that extra time to show that on Saturdays how to make it look easy. Like, these long hours, long practices, and hard work that we're putting in just allows us to create that bond and have that chemistry on Saturday so that we're making it look easier than maybe it really is.
Being here at the Key to the County breakfast, hearing the stories of prior games played, does it give you that extra sense of importance?
Yeah, of course. I mean, having the guys from 1962 here was just like a big deal. It was like, wow, like this game is way bigger than us. It's going to be going on for a long time, and just to be part of it right now, this place, we just want to make our mark in history, really. So it's really about this 2018 team and see what we could do and how far we can go.
Now, Robert was talking about the chemistry that he and the quarterbacks have. For you guys, the offensive line, there also has to be a chemistry as well. You look at last season, you have 2 starting quarterbacks, another guy in Johnny Photo who also had significant time. How do you guys, as the offensive line, try to develop chemistry with a brand new quarterback this year?
I think it has a lot to do with meetings and just kind of like small talking, getting to know them. Once you know them, then you just start like building that chemistry up gradually. You start doing things like going out to dinner, going to lunch with them after walkthroughs, stuff like that, and it really just it happens on its own. It's not something we're trying to do. It's just something that happens with offensive linemen and quarterbacks.
And when you talk about that, James, I'll go over to Jacob this time. When you are able to be with other quarterbacks during the week, does it also give you that extra sense of importance? Hey, I got to protect this guy because I know he's my guy. He's that guy I have lunch with during the week.
Well, you never want to get any of your teammates hurt because they're your brothers. So, like, you always try to block your best, do your best just to make them look good, and then you'll take all the bruising and stuff. So,
that's the life of an offensive lineman.
Well, thank you, guys. 3 national champions right next to me. Robert Downs III, James Stanton, Jacob Jankoviak. Thank you for joining us here on the Key to the County Breakfast here on SportsNetUSA.net. So we're back here at the Key to the County Breakfast. Joey Noble, Jacob Jones, 2 defensive guys who played in last year's Key to the County game. I'll start over here with Jacob. Being a safety early on in the season, you weren't necessarily that starter yet, that big guy in the defensive backing position for Fullerton College, but yet you made your mark. How did playing in the Key to the County game kind of jumpstart your season?
I mean, just getting my first college experience, first college game, just getting your feet wet type of thing, and trying to, better yourself every day in practice, and you get the time, game time to show what you can do, and it just gave me a chance to show that I have capability of playing at a higher level.
Over the next 3 weeks after the Key to the County game, you would come away with nearly 30 tackles in the next 3 games. How did playing in that Key to the County game, you mentioned it was your first college game, but how did the Key to the County game specifically help you read-wise the rest of the way?
Just the experience, it's about getting more experience, and the more you practice and the more experience you get, it helps you just along the way, and going along with the defense and going along the game plan just will continuously help you doing what the coaches ask you to do. Ultimately will get you on the field, and that's just something I did.
Now we go over to the defensive line. Joey Noble, last year you were part of a very special group. I mean, one of the top defensive lines in the state of California. You were top 3 in sacks. How did last year's experience help you going into the first 2 weeks this year?
To be honest, just got to work hard every day, and we got 64 sacks last season, and that's Coach Robinson. He keeps saying 65 sacks this year. Hard to beat, but we'll see how it goes, man.
You look at that first week against Golden West, in which you were a beast. You got into the backfield 7 different times. Yeah. What was it in that Golden West game that helped you?
Just like mental toughness, focus, and game planning. To be honest, the coaches, they do a remarkable job with game planning every day. Coming in our first game, like, we don't know a whole lot about Golden West because the team changes every year. So, yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
You talk about that defensive scheme, Coach Crooks, Coach Robinson working with you. What specifically are they trying to boost in you going here into week 3 against Santa Ana?
I would say right now they're just doing they're focusing on alignment. So like every time when we get a tackle blocking down, go straight to running back every play, even if they don't have the ball, just go to running back. Blitz plays, go outside quarterback.
We go over to Jacob. Jacob, last year, another special group, defensive backs. You were one of the top scoring defensive backing crew in the entire history of California. How special was it for you to be part of that group?
Oh, it was extremely special. I loved last year's group, and it was a struggle at first, but we came together as a unit, as one, and came together as a whole team, and ultimately it helped us, getting interceptions and sacks from the D line, our linebackers, and it all gelled together as a team, and it just ultimately created all the success that we had.
Being here at the Key to the County breakfast, we already talked to Robert Downs III, and the importance that you kind of get from hearing all the previous stories, knowing that you are a part of that historic rivalry. Is there any sense for you that, hey, this isn't just a normal game to be going through?
Right, it's not just a normal game, because there's something, there's a trophy at the end of the day, and that's something that is a goal to have, and it means something not just to us as players, but to the school and to the community that of course you want to go out there and we're going to give our best efforts and try to win this game, not just for us, but for the college and for the community.
Well, guys, good luck tomorrow afternoon in the Key to the County game. We'll have a recap of that here on the Coaches Show coming up this upcoming week. We thank you for joining us here on the Coaches Show here on SportsNetUSA.net for Jacob Jones and Joey Noble.
Mark Pavlovich for SportsNetUSA.net, and I'm with the athletic director for Santa Ana College, Mary Hegarty, and I should throw it out there to start it off with. I can honestly say once a Hornet, always a Hornet, and the lady next to me, the AD from Santa Ana, should be able to say once a Hornet, always a Hornet, because Mary, you did start your career here at Fullerton College.
I did. My first experience as an adjunct instructor and a coach was at, in the community college level, was at Fullerton College back in 2011. Prior to that, all my experience was as a college coach at the 4-year level. So it was my first entree into community college athletics, and I just loved my experience. But even in spite of that, the great people here, I can't say once a Hornet, always a Hornet anymore. Got to be all about the Dons now.
One thing I've got to ask, because you are somebody with a stoic career as a coach, and now you've gone into the administrative attitude in Santa Ana College. How does that help you as an athletic director?
You know what, I feel like I can really understand what coaches go through and how they do their job, what their needs are, and the kind of support and the resources that they need. But when I left Fullerton College, I actually was a classified employee at Long Beach City. So I've kind of had a position, all the positions in an athletic department, so I think it gives me sort of the perspective where I kind of understand all the pieces and what each piece does, and I think I can help, hopefully, the pieces in the department work well together. And I feel like being sort of a coach's athletic director, where I really understand what they go through, I think I can support them better and help the rest of the support staff do a good job.
So as an athletic director, how do you convince the public about sports? Because we all that are involved in sports, people go, oh, athletics, poo-poo, students don't move on, student athletes, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
What do you do to take that perception and get rid of it over at Santa Ana College?
You know, I think, first of all, it starts with credibility, like on the campus. And one of the things, even as a coach, even when I didn't have great years as a coach, my students always achieved academically. When I was the head coach at Long Beach State, we had a couple rough years, but we kept breaking our own record for GPA and, academic All-Americans. We even had a Rhodes Scholar when I was there. So I think, first of all, it's how you conduct yourself and you kind of put your money where your mouth is. And I think that, you have high standards and you hold students accountable to that. And I think you just need to tell the story too, because our students overall, they achieve at a much higher level than general students in the community college, but also at four-year colleges as well. And so our GPAs, our units taken, our persistence, our retention, all of those things, and then they go on to four-year level at a higher level than general students. So I just think we need to tell the story, but I think you've got to have credibility by how you conduct yourself and what you hold your students accountable to. And I think the culture at Santa Ana is in a pretty good place right now that we can keep developing and building on that.
We're in the air right now with Mary Hegarty, the athletic director over at Santa Ana College. And Mary, I've got to bring this up because we look at sports and there is that gender gap that we hear. Corey Nail and my partner's nickname is Title IX. And so one of the things we've discovered here on sports.usa.net from doing a lot of softball and you being associated with the women's side of sports, where is that going in the collegiate world? Because let's be realistic, D1, D2, it's still a man's game. How does a female, and I hate to put it that way, change the attitude in the athletic departments?
And so you mean as a director?
As a director.
Yeah, sure. You know, and that's something, you know, from the beginning when I was looking to apply for an athletic director position, you know, you understand that it really, you know, it really is a man's world and has been. And I think I might be the first female athletic director in Southern California, recently at least. So, you know, there's not too many, but, you know, if you get the right place where they understand that it's all about leadership and that the gender really shouldn't matter that much, but sometimes there's predispositions, and that's very challenging to change. But I think the way you conduct yourself and the professionalism that you conduct yourself with, you bring in your background, your experience, and I think you kind of let that stand for itself. And you know, I was blessed that the dean that hired me, you know, was a guy who didn't see gender. He saw my experience and my background and was trying to hire the best person. And I know that's not always the case. And you know, and there is a little pressure on me to do a great job because, you know, perhaps if I don't, maybe some other woman won't get an opportunity to say, oh, Mary didn't get it done there, we're not hiring a woman. So I take that seriously, and I think I'm at a point in my career where I coached for a long time that I take pride in being a mentor and a role model and help mentor young female administrators, former coaches, or maybe from the faculty side, and just try to mentor them a little bit and help them be successful. But I think the important thing for me right now is that I can have some success, build some culture there, and hopefully that'll open some doors for some other women, whether it's community college or at the four-year level.
Well, we'll see if the success starts tomorrow as Fullerton takes on Santa Ana in the key to the county contest. Of course, I know who I'm going to be rooting for tomorrow. There's part of you that's got to be rooting on the same side with me. Tomorrow should be a big game. Let's hope we get a big turnout and success comes to both our teams.
That sounds great. Go Dons.
Mary Hegarty, the AD at Santa Ana College, here on sportsnet.usa.net.
So when you speak of the key to the county game itself, started in 1916, played all the way here in 2018, over 102 years that it spans, though it hasn't been the 102nd edition. There were a couple of pauses in there, thanks to World War II as well. When you look at Fullerton College and Santa Ana this last Saturday, well, it was kind of no contest. Fullerton College with an 85-0 victory over Santa Ana, one of the best played games that Fullerton has had in recent memory. Not to mention they also got their second shutout in the last 2 years. So now when you look at Fullerton's schedule this upcoming Saturday, it's going to be Fullerton College going down to the San Diego region where they take on Southwestern for the first time. Southwestern going up from the American Division into the National, and all of a sudden they're ranked in the top 20. If you'd like to listen to that game live here on sportsnetusa.net, you can do that. Listen to Mark Pavlovich and Corey Nalen. Once again, that's coming up on Saturday. We'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Coaches Show, specifically looking back at the Key to the County breakfast, the Key to the County game, and the upcoming Southwestern match as well. I'm Ryan Osborne. Thank you for joining us here on the Coaches Show on sportsnetusa.net.